What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Landry Hat podcast. I'm your host, Zach. I have my own YouTube channel over at Double Move, where I talk Cowboys. I'm with Foots to King today, his YouTube channel at Foots to King. We're talking Cowboys all season long here for FanSided. Thank you again to the guys over there at FanSided and the Landry Hat for having us host their podcast and YouTube channel this season. So if you guys are enjoying the content and want more, please make sure to add this to your library. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or download the episode, like it here on YouTube. That way we know. Foots, before we get into this, we're going to talk some Commanders. We're going to talk about kind of where the Cowboys are at defensively. How you doing?
Zach, I'm doing good, man. It's so cool. One day we'll let the people in on our behind the scenes and just kind of like what we do. But man, Zach, I'm doing good. You know, I find myself trying to find the positives because just type of person I am. So many people are cynical and critics and it's doom and gloom. If we lost every game, I'd be trying to find something that went well or somebody's playing well. So, but I'm doing good, Zach. I'm doing good. Watching a bunch of tape, getting ready for this Commanders game and trying to get the people ready.
I think I'm right there with you. I've been thinking about YouTube videos, like, what can I talk about here? What can I talk about on the pod? And it's like, I need to talk about something positive, right? Like, Let's talk about the offense for a little bit and how well they're doing. And then defensively, what they can do to get back on track and all of that. But let's look back at the Cowboys game against the Panthers, because that is one I feel like if Dallas does end up missing the playoffs and they're really close, that's going to be the game that you look back on. But right now, I think it's hung up on a lot of Cowboys fans. That was kind of the edge for them. You know, like you kind of reach that point in the season where people are like, okay, that was it for me. I mean, I'll keep watching, but I don't expect a whole lot from this team. What do you think the locker room and stuff is like for a team after that game? I know you coach. Like, what are guys saying? Like, are people giving up hope? I mean, we saw today Jack Sanborn's back out there on the field. You were missing him. You know, you do have Overshown coming back. Like, I'm really excited about that. I want to see him back out there. Revel, Josh Butler, whoever. But what is it? What is the locker room like with the offense, defense, and everybody just moving forward with the season?
With a game like that, it's I would say demoralizing. But I think that I hate to do this to people. I think the players have to point at themselves. And a lot of those guys took accountability. And there's also players who have said, well, we don't trust the scheme or we need to, and some of that, hey, cool. But what I saw on film, Zach, just being honest with you, was at the point of attack, you lost the game. And Dave Canales did a great job of saying, we're going to run the ball and run the ball and run the ball and run the ball. And then we'll run it again until you guys stop it. They did a great job of, we'll take the 4s, we'll take the 6s, we'll take a 3 here, then we'll take a 10. You hit it on the head with the stat, Zach. He didn't have a run over 15 yards, Rico Dowdle, but he was great at just creasing you. Their offensive line was great at creasing you. And if you really look at what this team struggled with, it was setting those edges and really setting the point of attack in the middle of the defense. Osa was getting moved. Kenny Clark was getting moved. Marshawn Nealon was getting moved by tight ends. And for whatever anybody wants to say about Micah Parsons, that's never going to happen. Even in a run game, you're never going to see Micah Parsons get moved by a tight end, Tommy Tremble, really. So when you look at all of these things, Zach, all of it was a true and utter heart check, and the Cowboys didn't meet the mark. It was disheartening. And it's also just rough because you're watching your offense play so good. You're watching George Pickens go out there, have fun. You're watching him be a dog. You're watching Dak be a dog. You can't think of one series and say, well, they should have scored. Man, stop. So if you want my overall theme, no stats, no nothing, that's what it was, Zach.
That is like the poster child game for people that say that games are won in the trenches. Like Dallas just got beat all over the place. Like there was some plays in there where every single guy across that defensive line got beat, including your linebackers, like guys climbing up to the second level, getting their hands on Kenneth Murray, Shamar James, guys not feeling like they're supposed to. That is like the poster child for we can win this game in the trenches. And we talked about it pre-show. Dave Canales was really adamant on like, I'm going to run the football. I was waiting on him to get a little antsy and stop doing that, but it really was just like death by a million paper cuts. And I think fans are at this weird spot with this team to where offensively you're so excited when they get out there. The energy's so high. Like those dudes are killing it. I mean, they're number one in just about everything, but then the defense gets out there and they're equally as bad the other way. You know, you're like, oh, we scored, let's go. But now the defense has to go out there. So it's kind of like just constant up and down roller coaster for this team and fans. But we're gonna look ahead because that Panthers game, we're gonna put it in the back of our minds. Hopefully it doesn't come back to haunt Dallas later in the year. And look ahead to the Commanders game, which is an interesting matchup because I think you're playing, I don't want to say it's the same Jets team. Like the Jets are bad defensively. The Commanders are bad defensively. The Jets have a running quarterback, but with a much better arm. I think he has taken a step back. Sophomore slump, it seems like it's such a real thing with quarterbacks. Jaden Daniels has been hurt by that knee and stuff. But the Jets could run the ball pretty well, and so can the Commanders. Not the same team, but you know, the same idea. Going into this game, you're around a ton of Commanders fans, I'm sure, up there. You hear it all the time. Kind of give me your synopsis for people that haven't seen the Commanders play this year or watched a game or know anything about their season, like where they're at, like what they're doing.
Well, I mean, it's kind of been, dare I say, similar to the Cowboys in a lot of ways. Obviously, losing Jaden Daniels, and Jaden Daniels is a great young player. I think he's going to be good. But I see a few holes that we'll talk about. Obviously, had the big fumble versus the Bears. And I thought that the Bears did a good job of containing him and knowing how the Commanders want to play offense. So I'm going to take my time here, Zach. You look at this Commanders offense, it took the league by storm last year, right? Jaden Daniels, it's a lot of RPO, college-based stuff. That's who Cliff Kingsbury wants to be, right? Zach? He wants to be that. He wants to show these motions, orbit motions, these spinner counters, this college stuff. And it's cool when it works. I thought the Bears did a good job of saying, no Terry McLaurin. We don't really respect Debo. And they gave up a big play on a great play design to Luke McCaffrey. But is Luke McCaffrey up? Chris Moore up? And so Jay Lane up. Man, we saw Jay Lane at the Senior Bowl, but is he a respectable receiver? Not really. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to get in their face. We're going to play man. We're going to play close to the line of scrimmage, and we're not going to let Jaden Daniels beat us how he does in the run game. Here are a few splits, Zach. Their team offense, okay, if you look at it, you look at the Russian offense, it's third, okay? Atlanta is 1. Obviously, that's all Bijan. The Panthers are 4, and they did a great job of creasing you. And the Bills are second. But when you look at the Commanders, a lot of what they do rushing yard per game is what? Jaden Daniels design runs, which I think Cliff is really idiotic for continuously designing runs with JD. I just don't think that's smart. He's a slender guy. He's already had a knee this year, and just hits on the quarterback's body just doesn't. It's not going to end well, right? And so that mixed with their running attack, Rodriguez, Merritt, Bill Merritt's a great young player, and he was the hype, right? Cool, out of Arizona. But he also puts the ball on the ground. So, like, there's ways that you can look at this run game and say, I think that we could stop it if we know what they want to do. Again, Terry hasn't played all year. Even if he plays in this game, do we think that a Terry that hasn't played all year, this isn't like you're bringing back Ceedee Lamb, and Lamb has shown dominating moments throughout the year, and then he didn't play because of the sprained ankle. No, this is like this guy hasn't played. And is he just going to hit it? Maybe, maybe not. Debo's questionable. So the receiving threat shouldn't scare you in a way that this defense, that's the but. So knowing all that I know about the Commanders, I know I'm long-winded here, Zach, but knowing all that I know about the Commanders, how I look at them is if you know how they want to attack you, you should be able to go out and have a decent game plan of stopping it.
That's why I wanted you to kind of explain it, because like I know I haven't watched a ton of Commanders games film. I haven't watched them yet, but you get this idea from Jaden Daniels' rookie year that there's still this like super explosive, dominant offense. But if we remember, Mike Zimmer dialed Jaden Daniels up twice. Like they beat
Doubt
this
him.
team with Cooper Rush. So like it was really good his rookie year. It seems like these quarterbacks start hitting that sophomore slump. And I agree with you. Jaden Daniels, they need to chill out with the running. He's already a small frame guy. Like he's just a slim dude. So him taking hits constantly throughout the year, like you're going to start getting the things, especially lower body injuries with the knees and the ankles and the feet. They got to chill out with that. But the Cowboys haven't done a good job defensively. And Jaden Daniels does offer that ability to run.
Correct.
The Cowboys struggle with the pass and the run, and then you add another element of the quarterback being able to run. I think it gets really tricky with Jaden, right? Whatever they did against Fields, do that.
Yeah.
But this guy's a better passer. He will dice you up in the pocket,
especially in the red zone. That's where
yes,
he's really good.
He is a better thrower of the football than Justin Fields is. But the main thing with Jaden Daniels is staying in your rushing lanes, not letting him get outside the pocket, not letting him run, because you don't have the athleticism defensively to track him down. Like, do we want to see Jack Sanborn running after Jaden Daniels?
Absolutely not.
No, like we don't want to see any of that. Eberflus didn't do a great job against the Eagles early on with Jalen Hurts and a quarterback spy and stuff like that. This might be a good idea or a good game to start using the quarterback spy. Maybe ask Kenneth Murray to do it, because if you give him one job and say, watch the quarterback, he's probably he'll be pretty good. It does make me nervous because the Cowboys just got gashed so bad against Carolina. But the Commanders are going to do it in a different kind of way.
Yes,
they're going to do more finesse, this college offense stuff, a lot of motions, a lot of eye candy. Like Cliff Kingsbury likes to do different things. But I think if Dallas can go out there and stop the run, it will go a long way for fans feeling better about this team. You know, like
the variety
about the same thing as Carolina.
Well, in the variety. So when you watch Carolina, bro, you're getting zone, you're getting gap. They had a really good run plan. They're under center. You know, Jaden in the Commanders, everything's from pistol, everything's gun, everything is him with a threat to keep. It's the RPO. They have the RPO where they got the penalty. So like that's the college aspect of it. Everything's in the gun, and that they're doing that because honestly, it's what he's comfortable doing. Jaden Daniels, everybody thinks he's Superman, but he does have weaknesses. He doesn't like to throw the middle. He doesn't access the middle of the field, like 20 to 20. But then now 20 going in, he will throw the middle of the field to Ertz, do things like that. But he doesn't really access the middle of the field great, especially if you're in those man looks. He's not going to do that. Another thing is that I really noticed about Jaden Daniel is if his first read is covered, his eyes drop a lot and he'll bail. And what happens is, and again, this is you start pushing those numbers and inflating those rushing numbers. He's so athletic that it's like, oh, I forgot about him first down. You know what I mean? And then it's keeping the drives going. And another nugget, as we're talking about their offense, I'm pretty sure we'll talk about ours, Zach, but another nugget is they like to go tempo. So when they get their first down, he's on the ball quick. Let's go. And the reason why is because they don't want you to adjust. They don't want you to switch personnels. They want you to really, they want you to be in the same look, and that's how Cliff wants to call it. Cliff is, he's an air raid guy. They check with me. That's a check with me offense. So, like I said, I know literally all about this team. Another thing that is funny, Debo, they're cool with I think we look at Debo and it's like, man, he's this great man. Debo will leave the game with 7 targets, 7 catches, 56 yards. And the reason why is because they run so many screens. They will raise up, go out there and block tunnel. They will block bubble. You know what I mean? It's like they'll do those things with him. And there really is a however they can manufacture offense. That's what they're trying to do. They just put Noah Brown on IR. Terry McLaurin may play, Zach. And this is not me poo-pooing on the Commanders offense, but the variety of it, the cleanliness of it, to me, the maturity of it is not the most mature offense in the NFL is the Cowboys. And it's rightfully so. I mean, this is what the number says, what the stats say, but there's ways to get stops. Now, if the defense is going to do it, we all pray. We come together, we hold our hands, and we pray. But there's ways.
Well, that's why I wanted you to explain the Commanders too, because like these people, everybody's listening to this podcast, like we've seen the Cowboys, like we know exactly how this game is likely going to go. Like if you have to lay it out, it's going to be offense probably good, defense probably not very good. If you do have a little bit of hope for this game, a lot of what the Commanders do with Jaden Daniels taking most of his snaps out of the shotgun, not out of under center, similar gun stuff. The Cowboys did stop the run, and they stopped Saquon Barkley. The Eagles have had problems because they have to run everything out of the gun for Jalen Hurts.
Agreed.
The Cowboys did a good job in the second half of figuring that out and stopping the run. You get Sanborn back. Maybe you feel a little bit better because I'm telling you, those linebackers were really hard to watch against Carolina. I mean, it didn't help the defensive line was getting blown off the ball. You need Kenny Clark to be better. You need Osa to stop trying to slash through and getting out of his gap. You need Sam Williams to not get bullied by the tight end 2 and 3. Like that whole unit needs to play better. But if I have any hope, is you're going to see a lot of similar run game stuff that you did with the Eagles in week 1. And, you know, it didn't work out in the second half. Worked pretty good. Let's talk about the Cowboys offense because it might be a race to 40. Okay. To be honest with you, I have hope that the defense will maybe figure it out or maybe get to like 25 or something. But the Cowboys offense it's genuinely going to be score as many points as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And they can do it. Like that's the exciting, but it's not, I don't feel like, oh man, the Cowboys, they're just not going to be able to score 30 points. Like they're just not going to be able to do it, but it's just exhausting because they constantly do it. And then, you know, back and forth, but this is not a good defense. And you were telling me this pre-show, like the Commanders are not good. Like, should we miss Dan Quinn? Has been a conversation, but it's not like he's got some hype. You're not facing the Vikings defense or the Broncos or something like that to where you're worried you might not score 20.
Yeah.
The Commanders haven't been very good. Tell me about their defense so far. I know you had a couple numbers.
Yeah, I mean, so, and let me pull it up here, Zach. I had it, but I think just knowing what I know about this team, the defense hasn't been good. Marshawn Lattimore has not been good. The rush, I think early on, people are like, oh, man, you know, they got Dorrance Armstrong and this. If they're getting rush, seriously, Zach, it's because they're blitzing. And it's, you know, Frankie Louvu, you know, things like that, trying to simulate those pressures. But Dan Quinn is as Dan Quinn does. You're getting cover 3, you're getting cover 1, and you're getting it disguised in different ways, but that's what you're going to get. Overs, crossers, Ceedee's going to have a field day in the slot. They just don't have the guys to run with the Ceedee Lamb. They don't really have the guys to run with George Pickens. Mikey Sanders still, who was a really good player last year, he's taking a step back, and it shows. Their total defense is 26. The Cowboys are right up there, right behind the Bengals, and this is next gen with their 32. So we know where the Cowboys are. But if you look at the pass defense, this is what I really wanted to attack. The Cowboys are down there, but the Commanders are really close in their 23rd. But when you look at the run defense, Zach, the Commanders' run defense is really bad, bro. It's 20th, and this is where I think that you can kind of – we saw the Bears really have success with DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift was in the doghouse with Ben Johnson. He's getting his sea legs on him. It's a 9-spot difference between the Cowboys and the Commanders, but I just think that our offense is just that much better than the Commanders' offense. Like, I really do. And I also have a few more numbers. The 30th in yards per pass. So that's, like I said, their pass defense, it's not good. They're 29th in takeaways, 26 in yards allowed per game. We hit that. And then 20th in rush yards. So they're just not this team. And again, this is what you start to see with the Dan Quinn defense. As teams start to get a beat on it, It's cover 1 and it's cover 3. There's no really mixed looks. There's no disguises. It's all hoorah, run to the ball. And they have guys that can be had, right? Bobby Wagner can be had. Those safeties can be had. I just told you that Sandstill, if you go back and watch George Pickens versus Mikey Sandstill last year, it was bad. I mean, George Pickens had his way with lesser quarterback play. We see the wavelength that him and Dak are on. When you playing cover 1 and you're playing cover 3 and you're just sending the house, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to manufacture pressure because your O-line is blocking it up well, especially pass blocking. Like, we've just forgotten about how good Tyler Guyton's play because all we're focusing on is the defense. But the offense and the O-line, even though they didn't run block well, they pass block pretty damn good. So now, Zach, when you start sending those send pressures, and when they don't even send pressure, they just walk in and go over the middle of the field, Turpin, Ferguson. Ferguson should have a great game versus those backers and those, middle of the field players over there in Washington. And then I just don't think these corners like Marshawn Lattimore can't guard Ceedee Lamb. And he may not have to because he's going to hang on the outside. I don't think Marshawn Lattimore can guard George Pickens. And if you really want to have any criticism of the offense last week, I just think that I believe that play calling wise, I wanted Shotty to understand the moment that George Pickens was having. And I say this all the time. If Steph Curry's going to have 30, let him go for 50. If George Pickens is killing this guy, don't even take the ball out of his hands. Make them do everything to adjust and then call it that way. But looking at this Washington Commanders defense, it can be had in a lot of ways, Zach.
I think it's a really fun or underrated matchup too, because Dak Prescott knows Dan Quinn. That's 3 years of training camp and practices. Like, he knows what Dan Quinn likes to do. He was in the building with him. And then Dan Quinn also he knows what Dak likes to do, but Dak's playing on such a different level than we've seen in the past. Like, just all his pre-snap stuff, the post-snap processing. He's on a different wavelength, and it helps a lot having Pickens, and then now Lamb's going to be back. And like you said, Turpin is hopefully back this week. Jake Ferguson, like, this offense is at full power. And I'm not sure, unless you can make an argument, they're going to play him later this year, but can the Broncos slow down an offense that has so many weapons with a quarterback? Too much firepower for probably 30 out of 32 NFL defenses to deal with. Because I said it in the video, I genuinely think that George Pickens is probably a top 10 receiver in the NFL with Dak throwing him the ball. You don't have 9 catches for 168 or 178 and not be a top 10 guy. Like, dude, he's on a different level. And then you get your number 1 back, and Ceedee doesn't have to come back and be that guy immediately either. No. Like, it might end up happening that way. Maybe the Commanders are like, we got to stop Pickens. Like, we're going to get help to that side. And we're going to hope that Lamb is just coming back. They're a little rusty, and we'll rely on that. Like, it just feels so much different with Dak playing the way that he is versus a defense, like you said with the numbers, like, just hasn't played great up to this point. Like, they don't have the horses. You do. It's kind of like the opposite. I mean, the defense, like, you don't have the guys to keep up with a lot of offenses. Nobody really has matched up well with your offense yet, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You've had other stuff hurt you with drop passes and this and that. Something that Cowboys have done a good job of, though, is taking care of the football.
Yeah.
They have done a good job, and the Commanders aren't a takeaway team. That's what kills Dan Quinn. If Dan Quinn cannot consistently get the ball back, and that's going to be a key in this game, don't put the ball on the ground. Dak has another clean game. You're going to put up 35, 40 points week in and week out. So I'm excited about that matchup. I think this game's going to be a lot of fun, and whatever the over-under is, it might be 70 at this point. Whatever it is, I would put the over. I'd start smashing the over. But I'm excited. Do you have any other thoughts on this game? Like matchups you're looking for? I mean, do you think they're going to kind of get Lamb in there a little bit, or is he going to be thrown into the fire and like he's going to be that guy again immediately?
So I'll just be honest with you, bro. Some of the intel that I have, Lamb wanted to play the next week, bro. He's that type of competitor. I'm serious about that. Yep. And I think I told you about that, but we could bring it to the pod. It is. He wanted to play next week. And just being honest with you, I don't think they're going to slow walk him back. Like, I think that he's that type of competitor. Another thing is this: Lamb sees Pickens playing well, and this is in a good way. He wants to get out there and be a part of that.
Yep.
He does that. Like, when Clay and Steph were on a wavelength, they wanted to go out there and take over. Like, it was nothing for, and this is the beauty about sports. It was nothing for Clay to go guard the best defender. I mean, the best off. He was guarding Kyrie when he could move around like that. Like, you get what I'm saying? So like, those guys, all off season and all throughout camp, it was, people people were, man, how's this gonna work? Bro, these dudes want to be great for each other. They know what's going on with the defense. But when you're a pro and you're a competitor, you don't care. You feel like you can win the game. Bro, put me in position to make plays to win this game. Let's get our offense in order. Ceedee also is one of those guys who, like, bro, after he sold versus Philly, because he sold, it's so crazy this season. You are a few drops away from having that game. You're you're a point 0.1 second, whatever it is, from beating Green Bay, which is a top defense. And that goes back to, I'm so glad you made that defensive point, because you moved the ball on Green Bay at will, right?
Yep.
So you are, which I think is, man, that defense and that run defense, and you did kind of what you wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that when Ceedee comes back, when Turpin comes back, there's so much to deal with offensively for teams. Like, and you talk about the matchups, bro. Like, Marshawn Lattimore, I told you, he's been a pumpkin. And that's, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. That's the danger of making a trade, taking on a contract, and it doesn't work out, right?
Yep.
You could take advantage of Reeves, not great in coverage. You could take advantage of Quan Martin. Those are, not plus players. And I just don't think that Mikey is probably gonna be the nickel slot defender chasing around Ceedee. Good player, great player. Can't guard Ceedee Lamb.
Yep.
He can't. And honestly, okay, cool. I'm not mad at taking chances on Trey Amos' side, and that's somebody that we covered the Senior Bowl. We like him. But, I mean, if you look at where Ryan Flanoy wins, and big body, route runner, fast, if you're getting the looks and Dak wants to chance it, he's shown you enough that you could take those chances. I mean, there were times where Caleb had guys open, and if you go back to that Bears game and really watch it, he had guys open. It was a dirt ball. It was a miss. It was a lineman lined up off sides. I just think that our offense right now is much cleaner than the Bears' offense. You can really pick what you want. I'll give you another matchup that I like. Bobby Wagner versus Jake Ferguson. Let's try to stress Wagner out and make him play sideline to sideline. So I feel good, man.
Yeah, I think the Panthers game is a perfect example of, like, this offense is just too much to handle. The Panthers shut down the run. They shut down the run. The offensive line obviously isn't at full strength, but 2.2 yards per carry for Javonte Williams, and then George Pickens pops off for 170. Like, the offense was completely fine, put up 27 points in that game. There's just too many aspects. And then Flournoy, I think, is going to be your wide receiver 3. Like, I think he's going to be getting Tolbert snaps that we've been seeing in the past. Maybe they'll rotate those guys in because they like to get Tolbert on the field. But I wanted to ask you one more thing, and maybe we should have started at the top of the show for this. We don't plan, all right? We talk about Cowboys. That's like, this is just two friends hanging out talking Cowboys. Jerry Jones talked about extending George Pickens, or it was a question that he was asked this week. Obviously, he's been playing so well this year. It's like, I can't imagine not having that guy on your team, right?
Yeah.
And I've talked about, like, what is the plan if you're paying these two wide receivers $30 million? It's what the Bengals are doing.
Yeah.
But if you look at the NFL right now, these teams understand the 2 wide receiver thing. Look at the Eagles with Smitty and A.J. Brown. They're not playing great this year, but those 2 wide receivers, they paid them both. You look at the Vikings with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. You look at these teams that have number ones that still draft a wide receiver in the early rounds, the first round, if you want an elite one, right? You've already given up a top 100 pick for Pickens. You have so many holes on the defense. I think you're going to have to fill with draft picks.
Yeah.
You don't have time. And we've seen this offense when it's literally put only on Ceedee Lamb's shoulders, right? Like Pickens has been really good over the past couple of weeks, but that's also supplemented a little bit by the run game being good. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard for an NFL team to have it all, but I would like for them to bet on the offense and then hope and pray and scout as hard as they possibly can to fix this defense other ways. Just think those two receivers, dude, they're just too good. And people are going to see it now with them both on the field again, and Dak and Pickens on the same page. The offense is going to be unstoppable.
No, I completely agree. And like I said, I'm excited because I think that this game is winnable. This isn't a game where I'm just like, it's gonna be tough. Like Detroit, I'd be like, This game is winnable, but it's gonna be on the players. I think that it's gonna be on the players. You do need to scheme it up better, but I think the players are gonna have to show heart. You're gonna need a turnover too. The Commanders have turned the ball. Jaden Daniels late on the throw, the fumble. They've also fumbled. Merritt is fumbled. So it's a game up for the taking. You just need to go win it. And I'll probably say that every other game this season except a few. So, it is what it is.
The defense got to just take it personal at this point. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Like, dude, you cannot. Is it not embarrassing to go back in the locker room and be like, the offense just scored 40, but we gave up 40, and we've done it every single week. Like, at some point, you got to be fed up with it on the defense, and somebody has got to take control, charge something, play with a little bit of heart. But that's going to conclude today's episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you to everyone over at FanSided and the Landry Hat for asking us to come on here and talk football, do what we do and love doing. Like, this is the best. Like, getting to just talk Cowboys all season long. If you're watching here on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe, like this video. That tells YouTube that you enjoyed it, tells me you enjoyed it, and FanSided that you enjoyed it. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anything like that, add this to your library. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you back next week, hopefully after a Cowboys win.